The most interesting activity was the empathy map for Valentina. While doing that activity, we are as participants were active, collaborative, and engaging. Putting ourselves into someone else's place was requiring active engagement. I think the students are also going to engage in that activity while doing the task. While thinking about someone else's needs, emotions, pains, we all have to emphasize and think about someone else's needs. It is an encouraging activity to make the students more empathetic while solving a problem. Secondly, I also found the ideating part of the model enjoyable for the students because it's a technique that we are using in our classes with the students automatically. Each student, while doing an education activity, each student tells his or her ideas that comes to their minds first. But I think the challenging point here is that we don't use it while solving a problem. In our classes, when we come to face with a problem, we try to solve the problem automatically and immediately for our students. And I think while doing the task, while doing these activities, I thought about that in a detailed way because I realized that while having a problem in our classes with our students or while talking about a problem, as teachers, we are trying to help them to solve the problem easily, in an easy way. And while doing that kind of things in our classes, we miss the chance of solving a problem in creative ways. That means we ignore to think about a creative way while having the problem. That part, by this way, made me think about it twice because encouraging wild ideas with the students requires patience for me and for the teachers and requires more energy to focus on the problem. I think this technique gives us keys to see the problem in a detailed way with the students and to think about all together. And for that kind of activities, I think Scamper is an important and leading technique while generating new ideas because when I saw the Scamper technique, I understood that we are using, of course, these techniques, but we don't use them in a coordinated way. Lastly, I have to admit that random entry is a technique that I have heard newly and I haven't used it in advance because classes are controlled environments. So, as the leading actors, the teachers always try to control the teaching environment, and this causes to ignore the creative and the creative, basic, and random ways of solving the problem. Lastly, as a heading, maybe making a prototype made me anxious. I thought that I have to put forth an abstract thing while doing the task, but for the service design model, we are thinking about an ideal service giving model. Here's the point. Here's the point is not to make an abstract thing, but thinking about a service. I'm sure that each of the participants are gathering for the communication, doing the task all together, make the group behave collaboratively, and think about a problem, focus on a problem collaboratively, and I think it was enjoyable and nutritious. For the second question, I can say that it is clear that service design thinking model serves for understanding the service users' interests, needs, and expectations. It provokes for effective solutions and actively involving ways of solving problems. When a student confront a problem, instead of thinking about it and defining the problem in a detailed way and look at the problem in a distance, we use we choose to solve the problem in an immediate way. Especially the teachers are generally trying to solve the problem easily and immediately for the sake of the student. By using that kind of way, both of the teachers and the students miss the chance of thinking about problematic areas in the period of teaching and learning. That means we ignore the chance of solving that lively problem creatively by generating new ideas. In other words, we stop in the circle of routine thinking styles and we use them again and again, again and again. Service and design thinking model uh, by showing us a new way, make us participate actively while solving and thinking about it. It gives us a chance for collaboration with the other users of the service. It also gives us the chance to be creative and inclusive and social. That model and the hiatus gave me the opportunity to think about the education system and services that we are using and producing in our daily school lives. However, I should personally point out that from the beginning to the end of the project, as a participant, I learned to design a service model thinking task. Practicing that model with the students requires much more practice about samples in learning environments because the learning environments are uh, nutritious and problematic areas for each users because lots of people confront in the schools every day with problems, social problems, economical problems, emotional problems, because in educational environments, our object is a human. So human creates lots of problems in a day while interacting with the others. So service design thinking model can show us ways of thinking about them, evaluating the problem with the others, of course, with the other users. That means evaluating the platform made me made me made me more energetic and more engaged in the period. Lastly, I have to add that education is a sector, and this sector has to be divided into parts while thinking about only education. So the platform makes me request samples derived from learning environments for the education sector. These services for the learning environments are various and rich. Thank you for all.